Now I'd like to look at some problems from page 257. Let's look at A2. So page 257, A2. Now what are they asking us to do here? So they're considering this interpretation. So we have an interpretation in play. We have a domain consisting of two objects, one named Corin, one named Benedict. We have a predicate that's true of both. We have another predicate that's true of only Benedict. We have a predicate that's always false. And we have a name referring to Corwin. So for A2, what we want to do is we want to determine, is this true or is this false? So we're looking at A of C, if and only if not N of C. Okay, now A of C and N of C, these are from our interpretation something we have to, decide if they're true or false. It's not, decide maybe is not the right word. Determine if they're true or false. Now this thing is saying A of X is true of both Corin and Benedict. So it's true of everything in the domain. So, this is true. N of C is true of no object of the domain. So it's actually false. Now, coming back to my sentence, A of C is true, and if N of C is false, then not N of C must be true, right? Because the negation is going to swap the truth value, so we get true, and then so, a true if and only if a true is a true, and that's the answer for this problem. That's all this is. So you're using the interpretation to boil things down to TFL when you can. Okay. So let's look at another one. Let's look at A4. So we're still doing the same interpretation, but now we want to look at this formula for all x, AX. Now, ignoring all the complications that we had looking at the lecture, for all x, AX is just the question of, is A of X true for all things in the interpretation? And it is, right? Because A of X is true of both Corwin and Benedict, and our domain is only Corwin and Benedict. So everything in my domain, so here's my domain, and in my domain I have Corwin and I have Benedict, and, well, for any x in there, AX is true. So this is true. No problem. Let's look at 9. A9. I did not assign... no, I assigned A9. Do I have another one with two quantifiers? I don't know. Let's look at 8. Okay. A8. So, A8. Now this one's maybe a little more tricky. It says for all x, nx, or not nx. Okay, maybe it's not that tricky. Now we know from the interpretation that nx is always false. So this thing's always false, and this thing's always true. So you have a statement saying for all x, for all things in the domain, something false or something true, but that means that's always true. So you basically have for all x something true. So this is true, okay? Because of that sort of forced truthness, that tautology that's inside. And that's letter A.